They say beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Well, for Iowa, ugly is beautiful.
From LA to Piscataway, all Big Ten all year long. This is Big Ten 10.
If you don't like it, too damn bad. And I know it frustrates a lot of people out there, but this is how the Iowa Hawkeyes play, and you're going to see more of it as this season carries on forward. 2 injuries really turned this game in 2 different times. Of course, it started with Eric All, the tight end for the Iowa Hawkeyes, and we'll see how long he's injured. But if they don't have Eric All going forward, we know Luke Lachey is out as well. Receivers have got to step up, and they got to step up in a big way. Right, because injuries have continued. This is what makes what Iowa's doing even more impressive. Look at the injuries that they have had on the offensive side of the ball. You look at Cade McNamara, you look at Luke Lachey, and now you look at Eric All, and there's been some running backs that have been in and out of the lineup due to injury, and Caleb Johnson, we know he was out. He kind of came back and stuff like that, but that's what makes this so impressive. For as bad as they are on offense, they are so much better on defense, and this is how they win games. This is how they bait you in to play this kind of ugly Big Ten West style football game, and it works for the Iowa Hawkeyes. Ugly is beautiful for Iowa. So Eric All goes down, right? Then they kind of got to adjust things a little bit. Tanner Mordecai later goes down late in the first half, and that's where things really shifted. Right when Eric All goes down, we knew Iowa was pedestrian, to say the least, on offense. And we knew that this offense wasn't going to win you a football game, whether Eric All was in there or whether he wasn't. That's kind of just where we're at right now for Iowa. Okay, if you had like Cooper DeJean go out on defense, that's a totally different story. But now you look at it from Wisconsin's point of view. When Tanner Mordecai goes out of this game, that's when things really started to turn and really started to shift. Okay, first of all, Wisconsin started this game throwing the ball on first downs, throwing the ball on second downs. Wisconsin threw the ball 16 of their first 23 plays. Early in this game, Braylon Allen, 3 carries for 9 yards, and I guess he got dinged up a little bit, but he came back into the ball game. Why wasn't Wisconsin? I think everybody knew Wisconsin, the top rushing offense in the Big Ten Conference, by the way. Why Wisconsin wasn't coming out running the football against Iowa? Look, I know Iowa's got a great team. Iowa's got a great defense. I understand that. But throwing as much as they did coming out was a little bit of a head scratcher to me and how the Badgers really started this game. But when Mordecai went down, you saw, oh yeah, we're Wisconsin. We run the football. Okay, Braden Locke comes in. Maybe Phil Longo doesn't trust him as much, obviously, as their starting quarterback in Tanner Mordecai. So they run the ball a little bit more. And look what happens. You move the football down the field. Shouldn't be a surprise to anybody. The more I look at these Wisconsin Badgers, the more I see just how difficult it is to flip schemes from 1 year and flip identity, flip 30 years of an identity just like that. Just like that. They've proven time and time again. They have the personnel to be physical up front. They have the personnel to run the football on offense. And it seemed like early in this game, doing what they were doing, especially on the early downs, they were trying to force their way into this dairy raid kind of thing with Tanner Mordecai and maybe do something against this Iowa passing defense. But you got to give credit where credit is due. That Iowa defense, we know it's a good defense. We know it's a great defense, but it seems to get better and better and better every single week. And here's what I thought when that long touchdown run from LaShawn Williams took place. When it was 7-0, because we were scoreless there for a while, I was watching this game side by side with Oregon and Washington. What a stark contrast of Big Ten football, future and present, so to speak. So when this game was 7-0, I immediately thought Iowa's playing with house money. when Iowa got that lead early, when they were playing from a position of power, I thought this is where Iowa wants to be. Low scoring, ugly, defensive battle. And then when Tanner Mordecai got hurt, I kind of put the game in a phone booth a little bit. Even though Braylon Allen did some things on the ground game, this is where Iowa wants to be. This is where Iowa wanted to be in this football game. So the question has to be asked right now. We know what we see from the Iowa Hawkeyes. Our eyes can tell us. They show us everything, and they tell us everything. How much more can Iowa win ugly? Minnesota, Northwestern, Rutgers, Illinois, Nebraska. Those are your remaining 5 games for the Iowa Hawkeyes. Gophers, Wildcats, Scarlet Knights, Illini, and Huskers are thrown in there. I look at all those teams. Right now, Iowa can beat all of them. I firmly believe that. I think there's also a situation and scenarios where they can lose to a lot of those teams as well. Because winning ugly seems to have a risk reward. Right now, the rewards are playing off for the Iowa Hawkeyes. What happens when a team takes care of the football? What happens if a team can move the football down the field against this Iowa defense? Right now, those are huge ifs. Because I think Iowa has proven to us that their defense is still great. It's still a Phil Parker coordinated defense, and they do the bare minimum on offense to get the job done. Who says with that remaining schedule that the Iowa Hawkeyes can't go 11-1? I know that sounds like utter madness. I know that sounds like utter craziness. And I said it last week, and when I was saying it, I'm like, this is crazy, Ted. And I say it again, and I still think it's crazy. But yet here we are. Here we are. Every single week we talk about it. Every single week this Iowa offense is the butt of every joke. But other than Penn State, you know what's been happening every single week? They come out with a W. They come out with the W. And that's what happened again here today. Wisconsin's got to look in the mirror right now. If you're the Wisconsin Badgers, you got to figure out who you are. I think they've wanted to come out and they've really wanted to open up their offense this season. This wide receiver group hasn't performed. I think when I looked in this game, they weren't separating. And I know Iowa's got a great secondary, but they weren't separating. And I don't think it's just this Iowa game. I think it's other games as well where some of your talent, the Skylar Bells, the Chemray Dikes, Bryson Greens, and all of these guys, they're not separating. They're not talented enough. We talk about the scheme flip. I think eventually when Luke Fickell and Phil Longo get their guys in here in a couple of years, I think it's going to click. But right now, you just have so much Wisconsin personnel that you've had over the past 20 years, over the past 30 years. The makeup of the ball club is like that. You need to invest in the run game. Are they going to want to do that? I think that's a big question going forward. They might have to do it if this is a longer-term injury here for Tanner Mordecai. I can't wait to see what happens with the Wisconsin Badgers because this was kind of a game for both Iowa and Wisconsin where I think we were going to learn a lot and see, and this is the best that the Big Ten West has to offer, right? Where West is going out with a bang, baby. You want to see what the Big Ten West has been all about for a decade. We're going out the way we've been playing, so to speak, for a majority of these 10 years. But I digress. This Wisconsin team has got to figure it out. They got to figure it out. Because now if they don't have Tanner Mordecai in this offense and maybe they don't, it depends what they do with the run game and how Phil Longo approaches that going forward. And we know about the defense getting better, right? I don't really take much from their performance against Iowa considering where the Hawkeyes are at offensively. But I think there's some big question marks for Wisconsin. I think I come out of this one with more questions than answers for the Badgers. They still have a lot to prove going forward, and it's going to be very interesting to see what they can prove. What is this team going to be going forward? Are they going to throw it more? Are they going to go back to being old school Badger football? I think we're going to see that as well. Right now, the Iowa Hawkeyes, the leader in the clubhouse in the Big Ten West. I said before this week, The Big Ten West goes through Madison, Wisconsin. Now, the Big Ten West goes through Iowa City. And look at the flag behind me. You think any of those logos, you think any of those teams want the Big Ten West to go through Iowa City? I don't think so. Leave your thoughts in the comments below what you think of this matchup between the Badgers and the Hawkeyes. Can Iowa do the unthinkable right now and go 11-1? It sounds crazy, but maybe it's not as crazy as it sounds. Leave your thoughts in the comments below. I'm Big Ten Ted. We will see you in the next one.
Thanks for watching Big Ten Ted, where it's all Big Ten all year long. Make sure to like the video to spread the word of Big Ten Ted to the masses, and subscribe to the channel for updates on Big Ten content that drops every day.